Hello and welcome back to another episode of Math with Stone. Today we got a little bit of an easier one. We're going to be doing some pie graphs or some circle graphs and then some bar charts, but we're also going to have to learn about quantitative versus categorical data. Okay, so quantitative, quantity, implies that there is going to be some sort of numerical number that is involved. And categorical is really when you're just describing things in a way that would describe the person or the animal or whatever without any numerical value to it. So quantitative things could be your age, your height, your number of classes that are a certain thing, a score, a temperature. Whereas a categorical thing could be if you are your race or your eye color or your gender, okay? Other things that could be categorical could be some things that could be like your zip code and maybe your baseball jersey number, okay, which is a little bit of a gray area. It really kind of depends on if the number means anything, okay? Your zip code is a category for where you live. It doesn't count anything. If you have a higher zip code, it doesn't mean anything compared to having a lower zip code. Hopefully you understand zip codes. But jersey number, if you are number 1 on your jersey, it doesn't really mean anything. It means even more if you take football jerseys, because I'm pretty sure with football jerseys, the defense gets like, I don't know, let's say 50 to 100. And then for offense, they get different numbers. They get maybe 0 to 50. And then they even divide it further than that. I don't know all the football jersey things, but I do know that, like, I think that the tight ends get like number 88 and from like 80 to 90. And then I think the quarterback, I think, gets the numbers from like 1 to 20 and things like that. Okay, let's do a few of these. We're just going to mark it whether or not they are quantitative or categorical. The type of aircraft. Well, the type of aircraft is a category. You can have a jet airplane, you can have a propeller airplane, or you can have what are the water airplanes? I don't know what those are called. The flight number. Well, the flight number is more of a quantitative thing because I imagine that those numbers count up. So as long as they're counting up, then they are quantitative. But if they're just a category, which they might be, I don't know airline stuff. Maybe the 1738 flight means like Bay 17, and we're gonna have 38 passengers on it. If that means something, then it's categorical. But I don't think it does. I think it is quantitative. It has numbers. The number of passengers is definitely a quantitative. Okay, that one's a surefire. You have 5 passengers, you know exactly what you're talking about. If you were dividing things into arrived and departed, that's quantitative. You either arrived or you departed. That would mean that you have divided into 2 categorically. Why did I thought I was picking the second one. I'm so sorry. You divided into 2 categories. I'm so sorry. I thought the schedule was the first thing in the line. Category, not quantitative. Mistakes happen. All right, we're going to do some C's and Q's here. I love that we don't actually have to write anything out. Time it takes to get to school is a quantity. You take 5 minutes or you take 30. If you're going a little late, you're going to take a little longer because you're going to stop at the Starbucks or Dunkin' or something. Number of shoes owned. That is also a qualitative number. I think we should put number versus category. Hair color. Category. You are either blonde, or you are brown-haired, or you are maybe pink, like my wife has pink hair. Temperature of a cup of coffee is a numerical value, therefore it is a quantitative value. Teacher salaries are also a quantitative value. You have some teachers that make $50,000. And you have other teachers that are in different states that might make more or less than that. But I think the average is around 50. Maybe. I don't really know. I don't even pay attention. Gender is a qualitative. And even more so now, maybe. Like there's a lot of potential genders that are available that is up to user discretion. Facebook user is a categorical as well. And then I'm going to pause for a second. Normally I have you guys just do a certain portion of the worksheet, but for right now I want you guys to do numbers 8 to 14. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds, or we could pause the video. We're pausing the video, or we're waiting a little bit. I'm going to give you about 10 more seconds. I'm going to do them immediately afterwards. Hopefully we've paused the video in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Height is a qualitative because we can have a number. Amount of oil spilled is a qualitative because quantitative, I keep saying qualitative, quantitative because you could have a lot or a little. Age of an Oscar, quantitative. Type of pain medication, categorical. Jelly beans are categorical. Country of origin and type of meat. So QQQ, CCCC. Okay. Part 2 of today's video is also kind of an easy one. Hopefully I don't misspeak. We're talking about 2 different types of categorical / quantitative graphs. Okay, we have, for today, we are going to be doing pie graphs and we are going to be doing bar graphs. Okay, and as we move to the next video, we're going to be talking about which graphs are going to be most important. So we're going to have to throw in a few other graphs on the next video. So a bar graph, the bars are separated, and I do want to draw 2 different graphs here. We're going to start with, this is a bar graph. It looks like this, where the bars have distinct separation. This is a histogram, which looks almost the same, but with a histogram, I'll do it in a different color so you can see it, the bars are touching, like so. So this is a histogram, and then typically you say 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, versus here you would say you are 0 to 10 years old. And then here you are 10 to 20 years old type of thing. Where here you can have no spaces in between, but it's almost the same thing. Almost the same thing. Histograms and bar graphs are almost the same, but today we're only focusing on bar graphs. So each bar is labeled with a category. That category can either be a number, or it could be flavor of ice cream, or brown versus blue versus green eyes. I'm assuming these are eyes and not something different. Okay. The vertical axis will show the count or the percentage. So we could have either 20 people here, and then this could maybe be 30 people there, or it could say 20%, 30%. Pie graphs are a circle, and they will show the percentages. So with a pie graph or a circle graph, if you wanted to show 50%, you would need to divide that circle in half. And then if you needed to show 25%, this would be 50%. 25% would divide it into a quarter. And then anything smaller than that would divide it smaller and smaller. So if you divided the quarter in half, this would represent 12.5%. And then you just kind of guess from there. This would also be 75% because you have 50 plus another 25. Okay, that's enough for that. Let's do some things. You do have to label everything with these things. Okay, so we're going to do a few, and then I'm going to leave you to your own devices to finish the others. Hopefully you have a few other assignments to finish today too, because this is not going to take that long. It is somewhat tedious, but I promise it does have some value. So eye color of Langley AP Statistics students. So we got brown, we got blue, we got green, and we have other, which might be hazel, I guess. What other color of eye is there? Yellow? No, that'd be weird. Okay, we're going to decide if we can do a pie chart and a bar graph. If one is better suited than the other, then we might want to do that, and we're going to talk about which one might be better suited for what. So let's start with the bar graph. With the bar graph, it does not matter where you start, so we're going to put brown, then we're going to put blue, then we're going to put green, and then we're going to put other. All right, and we have to make sure we scale this appropriately. And here I'm just going to do number of people. And we should say number of people in Langley AP Statistics students. So, but that's a lot of writing. Just circle that. That's what we really should put there. All right, brown, we have 64. So we need to go highest number 64, lowest number 5. We need to make sure it's scaled appropriately so it looks right. So I'm going to make 5 really short, about as short as visibly possible. And we'll call that 5. And then that means that we're kind of counting by 5s here. So we got 5, we got 10, we got 15. We're going to run out of space, so we're going to have to maybe stop counting by 5s and start counting by 10s. But I've already committed 20, 25, 30, and we have made a mistake, a grave mistake, that so much so that I'm at the point of no return. I'm going to have to switch and count by 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I think we're okay. And we're just going to pretend that this is slightly lower than 10. All right. Brown, we need to have 64, so that would be all the way up a little bit higher than 60. Blue, we need to have 23, so we go to the 20. We go up by a smidge. Green, we should have 36, so up to 30 and a little bit more. And we've already done the other. And the bar graph is complete. So the benefit of a bar graph is it sometimes shows really drastically how much one thing is bigger than the other in a visual way that shows you via height, all right? Whereas a pie chart, it has other things. The other benefit of a bar graph is it can show you the actual amount of people, whereas a pie graph can only show you the percentage. So we're going to show you the pie chart now. We're going to get a pie. We do need to, for the pie chart, find out the total. So the total is important for the pie chart. So we need to add up all of these guys. So we're going to have to add up 63 with 23 with 36 with 5. And that is 127 people. That's a lot of people. Okay? So out of that, we need to do 64 divided by 127 because that will tell you the percentage of brown-eyed individuals. 64 divided by 127 is about as close to 50% as you can get, 0.5. All right. Then we have to do the same thing for blue. 23 divided by 127 is 0.18, which remember from the previous video, you multiply by 100, that is 18%. And then we got to do 36 divided by 127. 36 divided by 127 is 28%. And then last but not least, 5 divided by 127 is a sliver. 5 divided by 127 is only 3%. Okay, so let's start with the most obvious one. The brown eyes, which is going to dominate 50% of this. So this is going to be brown. Now, when you do the pie chart, sometimes you can put the percentage there. You're not always required to, but sometimes you will see the percentage. So sometimes you're going to be looking at it visually, and you can see that that is half of it, and you know that that's 50%. Now, the 30%, remember how this part right here would have been 25? So 30% or 28%, I'm doing 28% next for whatever reason, is going to occupy a little bit more than 25. So I'm going to do this, and then this chunk over here would represent the 28%, which was green eyes. So this is going to be green, and it is 28%. And then we need to do 3%, and we need to do 18%. Well, 3% is going to be about as sliver can be, and you can either put it here, or you could have put it like over here, but I've already committed. So this is going to be the other 3%, which means what's left over should look like it is slightly smaller than 25. And it is the blue eyes, which was 18%. Okay, so that is probably going to do it for this episode. Sorry. Which one is better at seeing things visually? Well, this one is really good to tell that brown eyes was dominant. This one, you don't even know how many brown-eyed people were surveyed. You just know half of them were brown. So pie charts are great for percentages and percentages only, but sometimes it's very difficult to see that 3% is not very much because you can't tell by scaling it like the other. So they each have their benefit, and we're going to be really focusing on that in the next video. Until next time, stay positive, and I will see y'all later. Be sure to finish this worksheet for whoever you are with right now. Thank you.